we are foster parents and now adoptive parents. Didn't mean to be, but that's just how life happens sometimes. Everything we were taught and matches with what we want to do, which is find out what people's needs are and then see if you can meet them. You don't have to be a sleazy salesman to do that. If it's not in your best interest, we're in this with you. We didn't get married till we were 30, and so all through our 20s we were separately both exploring outdoors. So I was in Florida surfing or in the mountains, or you were in the mountains, but we were both very interested in outdoor activities, like being on the lake, being on the boat, kayaking, kayak people, just kidding.
She's been kayaking one time.
But we're really not, because we don't really do it, but I like the idea of it. I filled my passport all through my 20s and traveled all over and tried to learn a little bit of a few languages that don't serve me very well here, but it was a lot of fun and love seeing the world and meeting people that have very different cultures. I think that's so interesting, and I love, love, love getting to travel. I was a school teacher and a banker and all kinds of different, I just tried a lot of different things until I landed here and realized that this is it. Like, I love getting to help people walk through this process, but it can be really stressful, and I don't know, it's just really, it's a really cool career that I'm very grateful for.
I was on the lookout for a woman who would talk for me.
And he found her.
Before this. And now I don't talk anymore, which is why I'm bad at this. Before real estate, I was in construction. I managed job sites, built a lot of cool restaurants in Nashville, did a lot of remodels and some cool custom homes. And earlier than that, you know, like Christi said before, I lived out in Colorado and explored the mountains for about a decade, and did some really cool mountain climbing and cycling and skiing and all of the fun outdoor activities. And then one day, my realtor posted on LinkedIn that they were hiring, and I sent it to Christi, and she signed on with that team and met our business partner Nathan, and haven't looked back from there. Yeah, so a normal day before real estate, we worked in different cities, so we spent a lot less time together before we started selling real estate together.
We were really involved in our church then too. I mean, we still are, but we would have groups come over. I'm going to laugh and acknowledge that we're older now, and so the groups that come now end at like 8 o'clock, and the groups that came back then would stay till 10.
Yeah.
And that was fun, but we would have a lot of young people in our home doing stuff like that. So we've always been involved in our community in that way. We don't talk very publicly about all of this, and probably wouldn't if you ever have questions. That were pretty open book, face to face, but that was pre-kids for us because we got kids one day. So we are foster parents and now adoptive parents, and didn't mean to be, but that's just how life happens sometimes, and it's the greatest gift of all time. So for us, we also went quickly, right about the same time as getting into real estate, of becoming instant parents one day, and an instant family. Point being, what our days looked like were very different, not just because of real estate, but because we went from going out at night or going to see shows or going,
freedom.
We had, we did. And then we had bedtimes and diapers and social workers and courts and all the things that come with that major life change.
So we really like each other a lot.
Okay, also, we have totally forgotten a huge piece of this, that before we had kids and before we did real estate, we did also work together.
Oh yeah.
He had a woodworking company.
I think that was mostly me working. We were kind of there, hanging around.
I learned how to do some things in the wood shop. I would help you hold the board around the table saw, and I sanded everying all the time, I feel like.
Yeah,
that's all I could really do.
Ran that sander a lot.
Okay,
yes, for sure.
We had a
furniture
company that was so fun, but it was after hours for me, and for you it was full time for a little while, but That was a whole other really fun adventure, and it was early in our marriage, and so we were in the wood shop late at night together a lot of times. And so we were listening to music but I mean, we do really like each other. So to answer your question, yes, I think I always wanted to work with you, but I didn't know if we ever could. I am not very helpful on a job site.
Yeah.
And really, we just realized that he looks better in a suit than I do in Carhartts. So he had to jump into real estate. I'm just kidding.
That's also not true.
Looking back, what were the private worries or pressures you were navigating that most people didn't see?
There was no pressure back then.
And now there is. When you have a 8 to 5 job and you show up, there's obviously pressure, and we've both had those careers. But when you have this career and everything is dependent on how well you guide someone through this process and whether or not you actually get them to closing, there is a lot more pressure in this career. But I also think we both work well in that, and it makes you rise to a level of expertise and professionalism and work ethic. You have to do it to provide for your family, but also like your reputation for your career and for the people you're working with to actually get to accomplish. And a lot of times there are huge things on the line, like where are we gonna live if this falls apart? But I think we're both cut out to do that. I don't know how else to say that, but it works for us. Like we enjoy getting to help carry that weight with the people that are going through it. I think there's just a different level of pressure, but for some reason it works better for us.
What were you afraid of at the time when it came to work money or your future as a family?
We didn't know if we wanted to be parents, and when we were signing up as foster parents, it was more of a like, we have been given too much not to give back to our community in that way, and a lot of our, like what we were afraid of at before we were realtors came, and while in our early years of real estate came around, how to appropriately take good care of these children that were in our care, that are now our children. In a weird way, when you're in that, the fears around career and money perspective changes pretty drastically on that. Like a bad day at work doesn't carry the same weight when you know in 3 days you're going to walk into court and nobody knows the outcome of what will happen for these kids' lives. So there's a different level of pressure that was added that we didn't know was going to be there. And when we first became foster parents, we were very like, everybody should do this. And I was, positive Polly over here was like, everybody. And reality is it's really, really hard and worth it, like hard and worth it. But we're also wired the right way to do that. Our careers were important, but it was more about how can we provide well for these people.
We did one of those personality tests, and it was like, this type of person and this type of person are gonna have a lot of change in their life all the time. Like, oh, that's why we get a new job every year and
new house
every 2 years. It was more of, I felt an obligation, you know, because of the grace that's been shown to me. From that grace, the gratitude in you causes you to want to do things, show other people grace, and so that's really where the decision with the kids came from. And I read a book that was like, go take care of the widows and orphans, and I was like, okay, let's do that. and we like signed up to be in foster care the next week.
And then how that ties into real estate though is it was a very weird place of I can't quit my job and be a stay-at-home mom because these kids might not be here next week, and then I'm a stay-at-home human, and I'm not cut out for that. So it was a very weird time to try to figure out. I hated leaving these kids every day at daycare, and I wanted to be present more, and I wanted to find something. And I have a confession, and I think it's okay to share it. I'm going to because I don't have a lot to hide these days. But when I got into real estate, I really thought I would sell some houses and help our family by being more present at home, to be there for the kids in our household, but sell a house or two to still help out. And I got connected with this family in town that they're amazing, and our business partner who's amazing. And what I very quickly learned was that is harmful to my clients if I am not fully engaged in the game, practicing real estate full time, then my clients get my part-time expertise, and that if I want to take the best care of people, and I do have that instinct, that I have to be committed to it and do it well. And so when that idea was presented to me early in my career, and it radically changed the direction of my real estate career. And so my first year, they gave me a little trophy that I was like the rookie of the year in the office, because it was like, I don't want to do this halfway. And then once I had done it that first year, it was like, I love this. This is my thing. So that's really the backstory of how it all came to be. And not very often, because we do value the professionalism in our industry and our career, but there are times that we will have a kid with us, and we think it's really fun and neat to get to teach them our industry and do, it's very old school, I think, but that like kids get to learn, like with their dad on the land back in the day, or sewing with their mom in the olden days, But to us, that's still a valuable thing, that our kids see what we do during the day, that they get to practice learning how to care for other people and clients, and even learning real estate and finance, and taking good care of someone else's property, and all those kind of values. So every now and then, and there are a handful of families who, we work with our friends and families regularly, so I know some people don't do that, but we do all the time. And there are several families who know our kids and invite that. And so it's also been a really cool career for us as a family, because it does allow for more family involvement, whereas if we were in a place where kids aren't allowed to be, or it's not safe for children present, like it worked out, it just worked out for us.
Can you remember a moment when one of you said, we can't keep doing life this way?
I don't feel like there was ever like a moment when it was like,
I think it was less like, we can't do it, we can't keep doing life this way, and more like, why aren't we doing life that way?
Yes.
Like that's
Yes.
the thing, is like, I mean, she had enough business that we could take the risk, of me joining, and that was like, I think when I came along, that was the thought. It was like, man, this might be really, really cool, and it turned out to be really cool.
Like in the hero's journey, there's like a moment of conflict.
mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And then there's a new thing.
But you guys don't have that moment of conflict.
Especially in a career.
How do we ramp up? But I mean, actually, so it wasn't before real estate. It kind of happened
With kids.
with kids.
I think that's our defining thing in our life, was like realizing how many kids need a home, realizing that we had a home, and that we have a lot of fun together. It was like, maybe kids will have fun with us too, I don't know.
There's never been a moment in our relationship that has ever felt like heavy or hopeless in regard to our business or our relationship. The only times that we've ever felt that way, I think, are in regards to the kids, with just very, very complicated situations that we've had to walk through with our people. And I think that throws everything in perspective when you're fighting these fights. I think you alluded to this earlier, but when you get out of a court hearing and to figure out where the little baby is going to go, like it throws your career and things in perspective of, you've got what you need. I mean, you've got enough,
We also, and our partner Nathan and his wife Sarah are such a huge encouragement and light in giving us direction in a lot of the stuff that they constantly talk about, and remind us that we're not heart surgeons or brain surgeons. Like, we are helping people with very heavy things, but no one's life is laid out on a table in front of us. And thank God for those people who can do that career. Like, talk about a stressful career. I'm so thankful that there are people who can do that. So that's our other thing about our perspective, is like, we want to do the very best we can to make this as easy as possible for people. And when we have that understanding that there's no one laid out on the table in front of us, then it helps our clients we work with breathe a little easier too, I think. So, yeah.
How did real estate first become a meaningful part of your story?
So I was immediately in banking before being a realtor, which was a beautiful handoff because I helped people rebuild their credit and learn about credit and learn finances and responsibility of money. And I had many clients who would come back to me and sit at my desk repeatedly. So when I first got into real estate, you know, who trusts you your first few transactions? Like, that is hard. But mine were largely my banking clients because we had been working for years to get them ready to buy a house. And so I got to help them build their credit and buy the house. And it was, I realized then, like, oh yeah, I could do this forever. Like, so that background in banking was huge. And we get to meet clients from all aspects of life and such varieties of housing choices. And I just love that, all of that. I love the variety. I love all the people and what they know and how they share what we can learn. I love all the people, y'all. I love all the people. So
I love one person.
And it's me. And other people.
Oh, there's some other ones.
There's some other ones. They're shorter.
Are they people yet? Are those people yet?
What did you learn about yourselves during this early stage of change?
We've always done everything as a team and gotten excited about some idea and then gone and done it. That's a good place to be, most of the time. Sometimes the idea turns out to be a terrible one and then you have to readjust.
Yeah. But it's worth a
But
shot.
new plan.
Just change it.
Let's
Pivot.
get a new plan.
Be quick to pivot if you need to.
We have friends that come over sometimes and we're like, they like tell us what's going on and they're like, oh man, we could just use your advice or whatever. And we're like, no, just change every aspect of your life, you know? And they're like, it's not, we don't feel comfortable with that. We're like, oh, really? Okay.
Weird. No, I'm just kidding. There is an interesting tie-in here because when we got our kids and started real estate in similar timing for me, I am a very, like, keep the peace, I don't care enough to fight kind of person. Like, you have your beliefs, I might have mine, and I might not care enough to fight you, but getting the kids in the capacity that we got kids in through the foster care system, I realized that there is this little mama bear deep in there that I didn't know was there. And when someone messed with my kids, Mama Bear came out, and it was like, I have this fierceness in me that I did not know was there. Like, no, we are all going to stop this meeting and we're going to figure out what's best for the children, you know, like willing to fight. And that was new for me, I think. And really cool timing because in real estate, I don't believe you have to fight I feel like we're all working towards the same goal. So if you work with us, you'll soon learn that when we work towards the same goal, it typically works out easier and smoother and less stressful for everyone. And in the same breath, there's a time that you need to be able to be fierce and fight for your clients and what they deserve and what they have. And so it's really interesting timing to see that come out at the same time of like motherhood and real estate, I guess.
You look at the old version of yourselves and the people you are today, what stands out as the biggest shift?
Those people had freedom. They were free. They were so free. You could do whatever they want to.
You would be crying in the floor in the corner if our life was like, if you got that freedom back today. I'm dreading when they like grow up. Like, oh.
Oh, you become a lot less self-centered, I'll tell you that, when you get all these people running around your house. You got to think about a lot more than just what you want out of life. That's a big shift for sure.
I keep thinking back and I'm like, I just don't know if I've grown up very much. I was this same person at school when I was a teacher. I was the same person as a banker. I don't know. I do remember vividly when that mama bear kicked in. I was in a courtroom and somebody was trying to separate the children from the baby, and I was like, excuse me, you said what? I will fight you.
What changed in the ways you live, made decisions, or treated yourselves and each other?
When we start working together, and anybody who works with us will experience this, but we have different strengths and we work on different schedules. We had to learn how to mesh well with our work ethics and the timing. I'm more like, well, I took a call at 10 o'clock last night, so I'm gonna not go in until 10 the next day or whatever. It's just weird hours. What we do is weird hours and very inconsistent. And it wasn't even really hard. I feel like we just figured it out. But
Have we figured it out?
he's in the office a lot more than me.
She likes to download at 11:30 when Stranger Things is playing. She's like, I got to tell you this vitally important piece of real estate information that you need to remember tomorrow.
So if you need the late night, you're freaking out real estate phone call, you know which of us to call, I guess. And if you want some data from the office, maybe check in with this
Call
guy.
me 8 to 5. I'm your man. We've just been really blessed with our business, and it's thrived, and we've been able to have more here than we thought we could get. And that's in huge part to the training we've received from Nathan and our firm. And it's totally changed the outlook that we have on life, how we have conversations, the level of guilt that we accept for being successful, things like that have all changed since we've been in real estate. That all came from Christi learning from Nathan and me learning from both of them, and it's a different outlook. Instead of I'm going to be just happy with what I have, which is great. Like, let's be happy with what we got. Let's be content. But also let's strive to be the best versions of ourselves that we can be.
Everything we were taught and matches with what we want to do, which is find out what people's needs are and then see if you can meet them. And you don't have to be a sleazy salesman to do that. Like, we've had plenty of clients call us and we've toured them for the whole weekend and wined and dined them and shown them the town, and they call us back and say, it's not right for us. And we said, you know what, we got that vibe too. And we wish you nothing but the best. And look, our paths got to
Mike.
cross. And oh man. But we really love that ability to have the skills to talk to people well. If you don't know what people's needs are, then you can't meet their needs. And guessing is not gonna get you very far. And so you have to ask questions, and then you have to shut up and listen. That has changed not just in real estate, but how we talk to people around us, our friends, our family, even each other. For all you people who don't know this, try this. I get a text on the regular of this man going, hey, thanks for what you're doing. Like, thanks for doing this for our family. Thanks for being out late tonight. Or, and I reciprocate that. Like, thanks for building us everything you build us, and stretching out of your comfort zone to help provide for our family and things like that. And so I think the way, like, what's changed, I don't know if it's a big change in us, but it's something that I will make note of that I think keeps us going. Rather than like, we weren't doing that, now we are. It's more of like, I don't know, what keeps the train moving.
What possibilities open up for your family once you started living in Greater Atlanta?
We have a house that's been in our family, friends, family for forever.
Yeah.
And now we were able to move into that house and completely remodel it, and it's on a lot of land, and our kids have their own little private forest out back that they get. Well, it's not private because the other kids from the neighborhood are back there too, but they have their own little forest to explore out there. My kids will just go and be gone outside for 3 or 4 hours messing around out in the barn or whatever, and I think that's just a great way to raise kids that would not be possible if we were not as blessed as we are and living in town.
Oftentimes one of us can have like kids home and playing in the afternoon and enjoying the property that we get to have. So yeah, we're super grateful, and I think that's the first one that came to my mind too.
When did you realize your story and experiences could actually help other people moving here?
You, as someone that's born and raised here, grew up here, you know all the people that you need to know to do life here, and when people come into town and they don't have any idea of where they should take their car or where to get a good haircut or any of those basic things. We have such a deep network that we're able to share all that. We don't have to call the general contractor when we get an inspection report back. I go out there and look at it and see and I can advise on that. But just the way that people talk about living in other places and then coming here, and you take it for granted, just never, take it for granted living here for so long that, how good it is to be in Tennessee.
What moments with clients light you up to the most and remind you why you do this role?
We have a handful of these that you go through a really hard transaction, the deal falls apart, or things go wrong at the last minute, or there's new surprises or new information, and it can be so stressful. And like I said, I've shared many times, is like we are in it with our people. Like we carry the weight. They lose sleep, we lose sleep. Like we're in it. And there was one family in particular that were moving out of state, and they were stressed not about our transaction here, but about their transaction there, where they were going. And they kept calling to get my opinion on that situation, just to run everything by me. I mean, they obviously had someone else they were working with, and they came back in the end, actually left a review that is incredibly long that probably no one else will have time to read but me, but it was like our only complaint was that they aren't licensed in this new state that we live in. And they couldn't believe that we stuck through the deep with them, even in that experience, because we obviously didn't get paid on their out-of-state deal. And we didn't speak out of turn. Like, we kept telling them to trust and respect their realtor. Like, we were trying to be helpful, but we were their point of peace. They would just feel better if they could run it by us. And that is a moment that makes you remember, that if you get to help make something easier for someone else's life, and they can see that you're doing it just because you care, not just for the money. If this closing is not right for you, we're going to cancel the closing. If it's not in your best interest, we're in this with you.
I think the moments that get me is like the month after close check-in. When you check in, especially these people who are from out of town, and you check in with them and they're like, the neighbors brought casseroles. Everybody's got guns. And they're like just so stoked to be in Tennessee. And they start wearing Tennessee Vols stuff. And you're like,
yeah.
You're just like, yes,
this
is good. This is good here. And I'm so glad that, these are our people. Like, our clients are our people.
Yeah.
Once you go through a real estate transaction,
you're close.
You become close. Yeah. I mean, we sold everybody at our church or house, and that's one of the reasons why we go there, because we love them all so much. But
we've been through hard things together. But thinking of the people that have moved here that will go out and see in Nashville or go see in different capacities, that seeing the variety of people that make Tennessee home, and that they like it for so many different reasons. That's really fun too. I mean, we saw clients that we haven't seen in maybe a year this week, and they were like, we went out to the Jack Daniel's distillery for the first time, and we were like, yes, it's great. So it was just it's so fun. It's like something, I don't know, just reminds you of the newness. Like their the newness around them makes it like a good reminder for us.
When someone watches your story, what do you hope they feel or understand about you on a deeper level?
I hope that you will feel comfortable to call us and sit down face to face and let us actually get to know you and your needs and your goals. I hope that you feel like we are approachable and that you understand our desire to help you accomplish your goals, and that you will actually call us and give us that chance. Because the videos are one thing, but face to face, where we can actually get to know you and what your needs are, that's what makes us tick. There's so much of the world through social media and AI even that is fake or presented perfectly, and I hope that you who are watching will actually pick up the phone and call us.